The penthouse door slammed like a gunshot, echoing through the marble-floored expanse of the Manhattan high-rise, as Ethan Harrington stormed in. His tie askew and eyes blazing with the fury of a man who just clawed his way out of a boardroom bloodbath. "What the hell is this?" he roared, his voice cracking the air like thunder, pointing at the kitchen counter where a massive copper stockpot bubbled with soapy water. His 4-year-old son Jamie giggling wildly inside it, splashes flying like confetti from hell. And there, on his knees beside the makeshift tub, was Alex Rivera, the new nanny. His shirt soaked transparent, a soft smile frozen on his face as if this absurdity was the most natural thing in the world, until Ethan's glare turned it to ice. Ethan's heart hammered not just from rage, but from the unwelcome jolt of something deeper, a flicker in Alex's hazel eyes that mirrored his own buried secrets, the kind that had been simmering beneath his picture-perfect life for years. He grabbed the pot's edge, water sloshing over, and yanked it toward the sink, bellowing, "This isn't a goddamn farmyard, Alex. My son deserves a proper bath, not some redneck ritual in a cooking vessel. Do you have any idea who we are?" Jamie wailed, reaching for Alex, but it was Alex's steady gaze that pinned Ethan in place, unflinching, whispering through the chaos. "He's not just your son, Mr. Harrington. He's a kid who needs joy, not judgment. And right now, this pot is the only place he feels safe enough to laugh." The words landed like a sucker punch, stripping away Ethan's armor just enough to reveal the raw underbelly of his exhaustion. The endless mergers, the society galas, the sham of a marriage that had birthed Jamie but nothing else worth salvaging. He released the pot, water dripping from his cufflinks like tears he refused to shed, and for a split second, the room shrank to just the two of them, the billionaire unraveling and the nanny who saw right through the facade. But then the front door clicked open again, and Victoria swept in like a queen dethroned, her heels clicking accusations, her eyes narrowing at the scene, her husband drenched, her child in a pot, and the interloper who dared to make her family human again. Ethan Harrington had built an empire on steel and silicon, Harrington Tech towering over Silicon Alley like a monolith to ambition. At 38, he was the face on Forbes covers, the whisper in DC corridors, the man who turned a garage startup into a billion-dollar beast devouring competitors for breakfast. But tonight, as the city lights bled through the floor-to-ceiling windows of his Tribeca loft, none of that mattered. The board had knifed him in the back. Whispers of embezzlement, a rival firm's poison pill, and now this? His sanctuary, his son, reduced to a scene from some backwoods fairy tale. Victoria, Vicky to the tabloids, the ice queen heiress who traded her family's old money for his new, tossed her Hermes bag onto the leather sectional and arched a perfectly sculpted brow. "Darling, what fresh hell is this? Jamie in the pot again? And you, Ethan, looking like you lost a swim meet." Her laugh was a blade wrapped in silk, sharp enough to draw blood without staining the sheets. She glided over, scooping Jamie out with practiced efficiency, wrapping him in a cashmere towel that cost more than most people's rent. "Alex, dear, why don't you fetch his pajamas? And perhaps explain to my husband why our home resembles a soup kitchen." Alex rose slowly, water pooling at his feet, his lean frame outlined by the clinging fabric of his shirt. Unassuming, yet there was a quiet strength in the way he moved, like a river carving stone over time. At 26, he'd answered Ethan's frantic ad on a whim, fresh off a psych degree from NYU and a string of odd jobs that screamed survivor more than success story. No resume puffed with ivy polish, just a handwritten note. "I know what it's like to grow up invisible. Let me make Jamie seen." Ethan had hired him on the spot, desperate after the third au pair fled Vicky's perfectionism. Now, as Alex handed over the towel, their fingers brushed, electric, unintended, and Ethan's pulse stuttered, a betrayal of the vows he'd never truly meant. "I'm sorry, Mrs. Harrington," Alex said, voice even, eyes flicking to Ethan with a ghost of that earlier defiance. "The regular tub's clogged again, the plumber's coming tomorrow. Jamie loves the pot. It reminds him of the stories his dad tells about camping in the Adirondacks. Makes bath time an adventure, not a chore." He met Ethan's stare head-on, challenging without aggression, and damn if it didn't stir something dormant in Ethan's chest. a warmth he'd long ago iced over. Vicky's lips thinned to a razor line. Adventures are for weekends at the Hamptons, not weekday rituals in my kitchen. Run along now. She dismissed him with a wave, turning to Ethan as Alex vanished down the hall. You look wrecked, love. Another war room massacre. She poured him a scotch from the decanter, her touch on his arm cool, contractual. Their marriage was a merger too, sealed 5 years ago to appease his conservative board, her socialite parents, the shareholders who equated queerness with quarterly losses. Jamie was the dividend, conceived via clinic precision, a bridge over the chasm of Ethan's hidden truth. Vicky knew, of course. It was in their prenup, clause 17, discretion above all. But love? That commodity had tanked long ago. Ethan downed the drink, the burn chasing away the phantom heat of Alex's gaze. It's nothing, just the pot. Felt like everything's slipping. He glanced toward the nursery, where Jamie's laughter bubbled faintly. Alex is doing, no doubt, turning bedtime into a saga of pirates and pots of gold. Vicky sighed, theatrical. Slipping? Darling, you're Ethan Harrington. Empires don't slip. They conquer. As for the nanny, charming, but he's got that bleeding heart vibe. We need polish, not pathos. She leaned in, lips brushing his ear. Remember Monaco? We were unstoppable then. Monaco had been a photo op, her arm looped through his like a noose, while he scanned the yacht crowd for a stolen glance that never came. Unstoppable? More like unsustainable. By midnight, the loft was silent save for the hum of the city below. Ethan couldn't sleep. Vicky's breathing beside him a metronome of indifference. So he padded to the kitchen, drawn by the faint clink of porcelain. Alex was there, wiping down the counter, the pot gleaming under the undercab lights like a talisman. Couldn't sleep either? Ethan murmured, startling him. Alex turned, cloth in hand, a sheepish grin cracking his composure. Guilty. Figured I'd erase the evidence before morning court. He nodded at the scotch bottle. Want a nightcap? Non-alcoholic for me. Early mornings with the little captain. Ethan hesitated, then poured 2 glasses, one amber, one ginger ale, clinking them in a toast to absurdity. They leaned against the island, the city a glittering confessor beyond the glass. Why the pot? Ethan asked, softer now, the day's armor cracking. Alex shrugged, eyes distant. My abuela in Puerto Rico, God rest her, bathed us all in the big olla during blackouts. Said it was magic, troubles wash away with the bubbles. Jamie, he lights up in it. Reminds me of being small, safe. Not everything needs to be 5-star, you know? Ethan's throat tightened. Safe. When had he last felt that? Not in boardrooms, not in Vicky's bed. You're good with him. Better than good. He talks about you nonstop. Nanny Alex says I'm brave like daddy. The admission hung heavy, vulnerability Ethan rarely afforded. Alex's gaze softened, searching. You're the brave one, building all this. But bravery's lonely up there in the clouds. Jamie feels it. He misses you, not the empire. The words pierced, and Ethan looked away, fingers tracing the pot's rim. Miss him? Every damn day. A beat, then quieter. And you? What's your story, Alex? Not many 20-somethings trade Wall Street for sippy cups. Alex laughed, low and warm. Grew up in the Bronx, foster kid shuffle. Psych degree was my ticket out, but kids, they get me. Figured I'd pay it forward till something bigger calls. His eyes met Ethan's again, holding longer this time. What about you? The man behind the myth. Ethan's laugh was bitter. Myth's all there is. He drained his glass, the truth bubbling up like soapy water. Years of denial, the ache of loving in shadows. But Alex's presence was a buoy, pulling him toward light. They talked till dawn crept in. Stories of Abuela's lore, Ethan's boyhood hikes, the quiet fears neither voiced. When Vicky's alarm shattered the moment, Ethan retreated, heart pounding with a forbidden rhythm. Weeks blurred into a fragile routine. Alex became the loft's heartbeat. Pirate forts from couch cushions, alphabet songs laced with Spanglish flair, bedtime tales where pots turned to portals. Ethan found excuses to linger. Early returns from meetings, casual kitchen chats that stretched into confessions. Vicky noticed, her barbs sharpening. The nanny's turning our son into a peasant poet. Charming. But her absences grew. Galas solo. Girls' weekends in Aspen. Leaving space for Ethan's world to tilt. One crisp October evening, after tucking Jamie in, Ethan found Alex on the terrace, nursing a coffee, the Empire State pulsing like a lover's heartbeat. Mind company? Ethan asked, joining him, shoulders brushing in the chill. Always. Alex's smile was tentative, the air thick with unsaid. They watched the city breathe, words weaving like fog. Alex's dreams of opening a youth center, Ethan's buried sketches from art school days, abandoned for algorithms. You ever wonder, Alex ventured, what life looks like without the script? Every night? Ethan whispered, his hand grazing Alex's on the railing. Accidental, then not. The touch ignited, a spark in the dark, and Ethan pulled back, panic flooding. I'm sorry. This isn't. Hey! Alex cut in gentle. No apologies. Just truth. His eyes held no judgment, only mirror to Ethan's storm. They stood there, inches apart. The cities hummed their witness, until Jamie's cry from inside yanked them back. But the seed was planted. Stolen glances over breakfast, fingers lingering on toy exchanges. A brush of knees under the dinner table when Vicky was late again. Ethan wrestled it. Guilt a vice, desire a flood. But Alex was patient, a quiet anchor. Then came the gala, Vicky's annual Harrington Foundation black tie affair at the Met, where donors danced and deals were sealed in champagne flutes. Stay with Jamie? Ethan pleaded, adjusting his bow tie in the mirror. Vicky preening beside him in emerald silk. Alex is off tonight. Date or something. Vicky's reflection smirked. Jealous? Darling? The nanny's a big boy. Besides, you need me tonight. Image and all. She air-kissed his cheek, cold as marble, and swept out, leaving Ethan hollow. He texted Alex on impulse. Jamie down? Fancy a beer? The reply was swift. Twist my arm. Terrace? Under the stars, beers sweating in their hands. The dam cracked. Vicky's not. It's complicated. Ethan started, words tumbling. The arranged union, the closet's weight, the love he'd never chased. Alex listened, then shared his own scars. Coming out at 16, family fractures, the foster system's cruelty. Love isn't a ledger, Ethan. It's messy, real. You deserve that. Their eyes locked, and Ethan closed the gap, lips meeting in a kiss that tasted of hops and hope. Tentative, then fierce, hands mapping uncharted terrain. It was revelation, the world sharpening into focus, until headlights swept the drive below. Vicky early, unexpected. They sprang apart, hearts racing, but the seed of possibility bloomed amid the fear. The fallout was subtle at first, a tremor before the quake. Vicky didn't catch them that night, too tipsy from schmoozing senators, but her radar pinged. Over breakfast the next morning, she slid a velvet box across the table. Diamond studs, heirlooms from her grandmother. For you, darling, to sparkle at the next event. We make such a pair, don't we? Her smile didn't reach her eyes, and Ethan forced a nod, the studs heavy as chains. Alex kept his distance that day. Professional smiles, averted gazes. But the air crackled, charged with what they'd unlocked. Jamie, oblivious, dragged them into a game of pot pirates, crowning Alex captain and Ethan first mate, his laughter a bomb on the tension. By evening, as Vicky jetted to a spa retreat in Napa, her third this month, Ethan cornered Alex in the laundry room, the dryer humming like a conspirator. We can't pretend, Ethan said, voice rough. Last night, it was everything. Alex leaned against the washer, arms crossed, vulnerability etching his face. And terrifying. You're married, Ethan, with a kid, a life. I'm just the help. You're not just anything. Ethan stepped closer, cupping Alex's jaw, thumb tracing the stubble that whispered of mornings unshaven. This, us. It's the first real thing I've felt in years. The kiss was slower this time, exploratory, hands roaming with reverence over shirts and skin, mapping promises. They broke apart breathless, foreheads pressed, the world outside fading to irrelevance. From there, it was stolen fragments. A hand squeeze in the park, whispered plans over Jamie's nap time, nights when Vicky's business trips left the loft to them, board games turning to tangled sheets on the guest room couch, bodies speaking what words couldn't. Ethan discovered Alex's laugh lines, the tattoo of a compass on his ribcage, points true north, no matter the storm. The way he hummed old salsa tunes while cooking. Alex unearthed Ethan's poetry scribbles in desk drawers, the vulnerability beneath the tycoon veneer. Love, raw and unscripted, wove through the cracks. But empires crumble from within, and so did theirs. The boardroom betrayal escalated. Leaked emails implicating Ethan in the embezzlement. A setup by his CFO, Marcus Hale, Vicky's cousin and Ethan's shadow since college. Family sticks together, Marcus sneered in the confrontation, his office reeking of cigar and spite. Ethan fired him on the spot, but the damage spread. Stock dips, media hounds at the door, whispers of divorce to clean house. Vicky returned from Napa with a glow that wasn't spa-induced, her phone buzzing incessantly with deleted texts from an unknown number. Ethan noticed, the late-night glow, the sudden interest in his schedule, but buried it under the chaos. Until the night of the Harrington holiday party, the loft transformed into a winter wonderland of twinkling lights and circulating caviar, donors mingling like sharks in Santa hats. Alex was there at Ethan's insistence. As family, he told Vicky, who rolled her eyes but acquiesced. Dressed in a simple black button-down that hugged his frame, Alex blended seamlessly, charming aunts with Jamie anecdotes, dodging Vicky's frost. Ethan watched from across the room, glass in hand, heart swelling with a pride he'd never known. My partner, the word echoed unspoken. Then Marcus arrived, uninvited, champagne flute sloshing, eyes bloodshot. Cousin-in-law, he slurred, clapping Ethan's shoulder too hard. You always were the golden boy, but golden boys tarnish. He leaned in, breath hot. Ask Vicky about the Napa retreat, or better yet, the Cayman accounts I didn't touch. Hers, though. Ethan froze, the room tilting. Marcus laughed, stumbling away, but the seed of doubt rooted deep. Later, as guests thinned, Ethan slipped into Vicky's study, her laptop open on a spreadsheet. Transfers to offshore shells, millions siphoned, timestamps aligning with board sabotage. And in the email sidebar, my love, the pot incident was the last straw, time to end the charade. Meet in Cayman? The world grade. Betrayal, not from rivals, but from the woman who'd vowed discretion, who'd played the perfect wife while plotting his fall. For what? Freedom? Funds? Their eyes met across the party later, hers widening in feigned innocence as he held up the printout. Explain. Vicky's facade cracked, just a hair. Ethan, darling, it's not what. Save it. He crumpled the paper, voice low thunder. Jamie. Now. Alex appeared at his side, sensing the storm, scooping the boy as guests pretended not to stare. In the nursery, door locked, Ethan paced, Vicky's heels echoing demands outside. Let me in. This is my home too. Alex sat Jamie on the rug with blocks, then turned to Ethan, hand on his arm. Breathe. Whatever this is, we'll face it. But the quake hit at dawn. Reporters swarmed the lobby. Leaks from Marcus, headlines screaming Harrington heiress in embezzlement scandal. Vicky's face plastered beside Ethan's, her tearful denial on every channel. She burst in, makeup streaked, accusing, You did this. To save your ass. You framed me. Ethan's laugh was hollow. Framed? I found the emails, Vicky. The lover in Cayman. The setup with Marcus. You wanted out, on your terms, with my money. Her eyes flashed, venom pure. Your money? I gave you legitimacy, Ethan. The straight facade for your precious board. I played the wife while you mooned over the nanny. The word dripped disdain. and Jamie whimpered from his crib. Vicky whirled on Alex, who stood sentinel by the window. You think you're special? He's using you just like he used me. A midlife crisis fuckboy. Alex flinched but held ground. Lady, I'm not the villain here. But if you're done poisoning your own family. Family? Vicky spat, advancing. This was a contract, and now it's void. She grabbed a vase, hurling it at the wall, shards exploding like her rage. Ethan lunged, shielding Alex, glass nicking his cheek. Vicky froze, horror dawning, then fled, sobbing into her phone. Marcus, fix this. The silence was deafening. Ethan sank to the floor, blood trickling, Jamie's cries the only sound. Alex knelt, dabbing the cut with his sleeve, eyes fierce. You're okay. We're okay. But Ethan wasn't. She knew about us. How? Doesn't matter. What does is you. Us. Alex pulled him close, Jamie clambering between. A tiny bridge. In that huddle, amid the wreckage, Ethan felt the first crack of light. Truth. Ugly and freeing. The days blurred into legal wars. Lawyers circling like vultures. Injunctions flying. Vicky's camp spinning tales of Ethan's instability to mask her fraud. Paparazzi camped outside. Drones buzzing the terrace. Jamie's face blurred in every shot, but his terror clear. Ethan holed up, empire teetering, but Alex was the constant. Fort-building marathons, whispered reassurances, nights where they held each other against the storm. Bodies a refuge, love a shield. One blizzard-ravaged afternoon. As snow blanketed the city in hush, Ethan faced the board via video. Resignation letter in hand. I'm stepping down, he announced, voice steady. Not because of the lies, but because I can't lead half a life anymore. Gasps rippled, but he pressed on. Harrington Tech was built on innovation. So here's mine. I'm gay. I've been in a marriage of convenience, and it's ended. The company's stronger without my shadows. The call ended in chaos. Stocks surged on the candor, allies emerging from woodwork. But Ethan exhaled, unburdened. Alex, eavesdropping from the hall, entered with Jamie on his hip. Proud of you, he murmured, kissing Ethan's temple. That evening, as Flakes danced outside, they bundled Jamie for a rare outing, Central Park under white, sledding down Sheep Meadow, laughter echoing pure. Jamie rode between them on the toboggan, shrieking delight, and for the first time, Ethan saw his future not as ledgers, but legs tangled in dawn light, small hands in theirs. Vicky's truth unraveled fully in court. Guilty plea, restitution ordered, Cayman lover a footnote in tabloids. She vanished to Europe, a ghost of gala gowns, leaving a note. I envied your courage, even as I feared it. Be happy for Jamie. Betrayal's sting faded to lessen. Love can't be bartered. Spring thawed the city, and Ethan's life reformed. Consulting gigs funding a foundation for LGBTQ plus youth. Alex's center its flagship. They moved to a Brooklyn brownstone. Pots on the stove for baths and stews. Terrace gardens blooming wild. No empires, just evenings of stories. Jamie's questions blooming too. Why do you and Nanny Alex hold hands like mommies do? Because love looks like family, Ethan said, Alex's arm around them both. And in that answer, humanity bloomed, flawed, fierce, forever. Yet peace was a fragile bloom, tested by summer's heat. Ethan's coming out rippled beyond boardrooms. Old friends distanced. Family from Ohio sent Bible verses via email. The media feast turning from scandal to spectacle. Billionaire comes clean, love or leverage? Blared Vanity Fair. Alex's face pixelated but his Bronx roots dissected. Hate mail piled. Slurs scrawled on takeout boxes, calls threatening Jamie's school spot. Alex bore it with quiet steel, but cracks showed. Nights staring at ceiling fans, murmuring, Am I enough? For this circus. Ethan held him then, tracing the compass tattoo. You're north, Alex. Always. Jamie's world steadied too. Preschool teachers trained on two dads. Playdates where he boasted of pot adventures. But the climax brewed in August, when Marcus resurfaced. Not in court, but at the brownstone door, rain-slicked and desperate, a ghost with a gunmetal glint in his eye. "Ethan," he growled through the screen, bottle in hand. "We need to talk. About Vicky's mess. You started this." Ethan's blood iced. Alex hovered behind, Jamie asleep upstairs. "Go home, Marcus. It's over." "Over? You ruined us." Marcus kicked the stoop, voice rising. "She was my blood, our blood. And you? Parading your little sodomy show while she rots in exile." The slur landed like a slap, and Ethan flung open the door, fists clenched. "Get off my property. Now." Marcus lunged, wild swing glancing Ethan's jaw, the bottle shattering on brick. Chaos erupted. Alex tackling Marcus to the wet grass, wrestling the drunkard's flailing arms, rain mingling with grunts and curses. "Stay down," Alex barked, pinning him, but Marcus bucked, knee connecting with Alex's ribs, a sickening thud. Ethan roared, hauling Marcus off, sirens wailing distant. Neighbors 911. Police cuffed him, sputtering venom. "Freak lovers. Vicky warned me." As they dragged him away, his eyes locked on Alex, crumpled but rising. "You'll pay. Both of you." The assault left bruises. Alex's ribs taped, Ethan's jaw swollen. But deeper wounds. Fear's shadow over their haven. That night, bandaged on the couch, Jamie curled between. Ethan whispered, "I can't lose you. Not to this." Alex's hand found his, steady. "You won't. We're tougher than their hate." But doubt festered. The next week, an anonymous package arrived. Photos? Grainy but damning. Alex in a bar brawl years back. Foster records alleging instability. Whispers to CPS about Jamie's care. Vicky's hand? Marcus's. It didn't matter. The threat loomed, custody battle, painted as the unfit interloper. Ethan's lawyer advised caution. Pause the engagement talk. Courts love stability. Engagement. A ring in his pocket, sapphire for Alex's eyes, planned for Labor Day. Now it burned like contraband. Alex saw the shift. Ethan's late nights at the foundation, excuses layering. "Talk to me," he pleaded one dusk, sunset bleeding orange through windows. "I am." Ethan buried in briefs, fearing the system's jaws. The fracture widened at a foundation gala. Alex's center groundbreaking, donors toasting under string lights in Prospect Park. Ethan arrived late, speech slurred by stress. Vicky's latest plea, via lawyer. "Let me see Jamie," gnawing. On stage, lauding Alex's vision, he faltered, "This man, he's changed everything. Taught me love isn't ledgers." Applause thundered, but backstage, Alex pulled him aside, eyes hurt. "That hesitation earlier taught me, like I'm the lesson, not the life." Ethan deflated. "It's the photos, the threats. If we push or pull back." Alex's voice cracked. "I'm not her, Ethan. I won't trap you, but I won't hide either." He walked out, into the night, leaving Ethan adrift. Days stretched taut. Alex stayed for Jamie. Mealtimes mechanical, touches ghosts, but the spark dimmed. Ethan drowned in what-ifs until a call from Ohio. His mother, voice quavering. "Saw the news. About you and the boy. Is it true?" Truth time. "Yes, Mom. His name's Alex. He saved me." Silence, then soft. "Bring him home. Jamie too. We've got a pot big enough for all." The words unlocked him. He raced to the center, finding Alex knee-deep in blueprints, exhaustion etched. "I'm scared," Ethan confessed, dropping to one knee, ring glinting. "Scared of losing you to their bullshit. But more scared of a life without this." He held it out. "Marry me? Not for show, for us." Tears streaked Alex's face, joy warring fear. "Yes, God, yes." They kissed amid sawdust and dreams, the world writing. Fall brought trials. Custody hearing, Vicky's remote testimony a tearful farce. "I just want what's best for our boy." But evidence mounted, her fraud, Marcus's assault charges, and the judge ruled. Joint, but Ethan primary. Alex affirmed as guardian. Love's the steadiest home, she noted, humanistic nod. Winter deepened bonds. Holiday cards flooded, not hate, but support. Old colleagues outing themselves, Foster alumni thanking Alex. Jamie's first Daddy's Day featured a finger-painted pot, gold-foiled. Ethan and Alex exchanged vows in a quiet Brooklyn courthouse. Jamie ring-bearer in tiny tux. Abuela's Alia on the altar as unity candle. Years wove on. The center thrived, Jamie grew. Curious, kind. Pot baths a tradition for his own kids one day. Ethan mentored startups on authenticity. Alex wrote a memoir. Pots of gold. From shadows to safe havens. Betrayals scarred but strengthened. Love, the true empire, endured. In quiet moments, terrace under stars, Ethan traced Alex's compass. True north. Always? Alex replied. Their hands linked, Jamie's snores drifting from the nursery. A family forged in storm, blooming eternal. No, that wasn't the end. Life's dramas don't bow to neat bows. 5 years post-vows, with Jamie turning 9 and a second child. Little Sophia, gurgling in her pot bath. Alex's insistence, now family lore, the past clawed back. Vicky resurfaced. Not as villain, but specter. Letters from Paris, post-rehab, post-divorce from her came in flame. I've changed, she wrote. Therapy, amends. Can I see him? Not to take, but to heal. Ethan stared at the envelope, pulse thundering. Forgiveness? Or fresh fracture? Alex, reading over his shoulder, squeezed. Your call. But Jamie asks about her sometimes. The mommy from stories. The meeting was neutral. Central Park, autumn leaves carpeting paths like faded regrets. Vicky arrived subdued. Jeans, no heels, hair unstyled. Eyes tracing Jamie's face like a map home. You've grown so much, she whispered, handing a locket. Photo of them 3, pre-pot, pre-everything. Jamie fidgeted, polite but wary. Hi, Mommy. Daddies say you're on an adventure. She laughed, watery. The longest one. I messed up, kiddo. Hurt your dad, Ethan. But I see you now, happy. That's enough. No demands, just stories, her Parisian bakery, dreams deferred. Ethan watched, Alex vigilant at his side. As walls thawed, Jamie hugged her goodbye, tentative, and Vicky met Ethan's gaze. Thank you for raising him right. In the cab home, Jamie chattered. She's nice, like a pirate queen. Ethan exhaled, burden lifting. Human, flawed, redeemable. But conflict brewed elsewhere. The foundation's expansion, Alex's center eyeing national scale, clashing with Ethan's caution post-Marcus. We're risking exposure, Ethan argued, boardroom echoes haunting. Hate groups fundraised off us last year. Alex's fire flared. And we shrink? After all this. Late nights sharpened to silences. Sophia's cries the referee. The climax crested at a donor summit in D.C. Keynote on resilience. Alex speaking raw. Love isn't safe. It's the fight worth having. Ethan, in the wings, swelled pride. But post-talk, a protester shoved through security. Signs screaming pervert puppeteers. Spittle flying. Your family poisons kids. Alex shielded a donor's child. Ethan tackling the man. Fists, flashes, headlines anew. Harrington scuffle. Activism or assault? Back in Brooklyn, media storm. Sponsors wavering. Alex withdrawn. Maybe you're right. Maybe we play small. Ethan's heart cracked. No, this is us. Fighting, not fleeing. He pulled Alex to the terrace, city sprawling defiant. Remember the pot? Joy in the mess. That's our north. Tears came, reconciliation in rain. Bodies pressed, reaffirming vows unspoken. They pivoted. Community armoring, legal alliances, turning attack to momentum. Donors doubled down, center scaled safely. Humanism deepened in small graces. Jamie's school play, him as the pot wizard, Alex and Ethan teary in seats. Sophia's first steps toward the Alia, giggling splash. Vicky's visits sporadic, healed. Thanksgiving 1 year, her pie burnt but embraced. Ethan's memoir followed Alex's. Ledgers of the Heart, best-selling, Bridging Worlds. Lectures drew crowds. Betrayal taught me trust. Love, the rebuild. One eve, brownstone aglow. Family gathered. Vicky too. Tentative guest. Ethan raised a glass. Juice for kids. To truths unearthed. Pots refilled. Laughter rang, humanistic close. Not perfect, but whole. In America's mosaic, Manhattan lights to Brooklyn stoops. They carved space. Love's quiet revolution. And so, the billionaire who yelled found not empire's roar, but heart's whisper. Enduring, profound.